Hello, let's go over the new patch. The first one on the list is a new item, the absorption module. It's the same as the technology for melting points and steel balls, but it converts 50% of the damage instead of 40. And in general, and by the way, this item will cost 150, so it's quite expensive. And in general, I think this item will be pretty bad. I ran some tests with it. I'll put them on the screen while I speak. But it feels like it's a bad version of heavy armor and nano repair kit. But some uses come to my mind. It could be really strong if you have like one highly leveled steel ball, like level 2 or level 3, and you don't want to commit into it, so you don't want to take it, and then you find this item, put it on that, and it becomes an instant powerhouse. Then you can sell it when it's countered and move the item around. It's the same situation with melting point, so you can get like a free technology on them without committing into it too much. I think that will be the best use case for this item. It isn't affected by EMP either, so that's a good thing as well. And it doesn't convert overkill damage, by the way, so it's quite bad against chaff. And one thing I also thought about is that it could be very good with Mustangs to survive fire, but I think heavy armor is just better or as good as this. So while this is a cool item, it only has niche use cases. So I would put it probably only on steel balls and melting points. Otherwise, heavy armor or nano is just better. That's my first impression. Then the improved Scorpion card. I don't know. The stats buff and the range buff is certainly worth the 50, but you need to pay 50 also for the card. So unless the Scorpions are buffed heavily in the future, I don't think I will ever pick this card. I don't think it's good. Then the rate change is quite interesting one. I feel like, and also there's the Vulcan nerf as well. There was 3 highly overpowered units in the last patch. There was a Vulcan, Wraith, and Sledgehammer, in my opinion. And they changed the Wraith, nerfed the Vulcan, and didn't touch the Sledge. So I'm expecting a lot of Sledgehammers in this patch. But the Wraith rework is quite good, I think. The problem with the previous Wraith was that it filled every role. Like you didn't have to build anything other than the Wraith. It was quite a stupid one. It killed rhinos, it killed giants. It was crazy. But now it seems to be reduced to a chaff clearing unit, or a chaff clear and medium unit clear. I have some clips as well, I'll put them on the screen. So it seems to clear crawlers really fast, shielded fangs also pretty fast, almost as fast as HE Mustangs, which is crazy. And it's pretty good versus steel balls and sledges also. So I think the Wraith will have many use cases. But now you need to support it with single target damage. Then the Vulcan nerf, I think it's a good direction, but I don't think it's enough at all. I think they should have reverted the changes they made to the Vulcan. So it, like a couple of patches ago, they made it so the Vulcan turns faster and splashes more. And I think that is what broke the unit. It wasn't a good direction in my opinion. It's just so it does everything, the Vulcan. The Phoenix. I mean, the HP doesn't really matter. if something connects to the Phoenix, it just dies. But I guess it makes the improved Phoenix card a lot worse. I like the card a lot. I like to tank the Mustangs with the improved Phoenix. It was a lot of fun. But now it's not so good anymore. And Forgotten Arbiter had a good point about Phoenix. He said that now you can the usable spell, the Missile Strike. Now you can Missile Strike a level 2 Phoenix. That's something to think about. The Scorpion buff is very nice. It's much needed. Let's see if it is enough. And they finally nerfed the Stormcaller, which is so crazy that they do it like now. I think people have been complaining about the Stormcallers for 9 months. Then they, at some point, they introduced the anti-missile device, and it went into a kind of a weird direction. But now they are finally changing the stats on the Stormcaller, which is a very good thing. The unit is very strong. But here I'm a little bit concerned about Vulcan here, because the Stormcaller is a big Vulcan counter. And now it isn't anymore. The armor enhancement buffs are kind of whatever. Makes them a little bit stronger. And the research center buff, when I first read this, I thought you could like indefinitely upgrade the 100 cost stuff, but how it works is there's 2 levels. The first one is the same as before, and then there's another level which is double the first buff, but you pay 300 for it. I'll put the stats on the screen. But I think this will become a bit of a noob trap. Like the attack enhancements and defense enhancement aren't that good in this game, I feel like. And people are probably gonna build them too early. And also I think a lot of people will think the game in terms of breakpoints for the units, but I don't think they matter that much. Like the second level of the enhancement is so expensive, it's 300. You are gonna pick it in like very late game, like round 6 at earliest, maybe round 7. And at that point the breakpoints don't matter that much because there's so much going on in the fight. So I don't think it's wise to think in terms like that. And equipments, they remove parasitic and charge ammo for now. I think this very good and welcome change. Probably everybody thinks that as well. They were a little bit too swingy items. The parasitic. The problem with parasitic is that it was so expensive that you had to basically skip your whole turn to get it. And the player who was winning before it came up was winning once again because you couldn't make any plays because you hadn't got any supply to do it. So I think that was a big problem, and then it favored certain units a lot more and certain boards, so it kinda forced the game into a certain direction. Like if you didn't have Vulcans or Wraiths or Mustangs on the board, you weren't playing the game correctly, because these items had a high chance of appearing. So now you can do a lot more. And the charge ammo was especially toxic against armor technologies or like assault marksmen or stuff like that. And it felt really bad when you spend your previous turn taking or committing into a technology, and then there comes charge ammo and all your plans are ruined. It wasn't a really fun experience, and you couldn't rely on a strategy. Like, for example, in this game, you can build your board that it forces the opponent to do something, and then you have an answer ready for it. For example, you could force Mustangs out of the enemy, and then on the same turn he builds the Mustangs, you can go like armor sledges and the Mustangs do nothing. But now with the charge ammo, they could just get the charge ammo and your armor did nothing and your plans were ruined. So, and then you lost the game, even though you have like outplayed the opponent, thought 3 turns ahead, and it was pretty unfun card. But I hope they will bring the parasitic back in some form. I think it's a very iconic item to the game. When I think about the items in this game, I don't even remember the names of half of them. But parasitic is like, it's so unique. I hope they find a way to make it good for the game and bring it back. So all in all, I think a very good patch. Everything is going into the right direction. Slowly, but still. Thanks for watching.